Today's vlog is a video about how to overcome social anxiety. Now, social anxiety was something I used to suffer from majorly while growing up, and it really hampered my life. And I thought today I wanted to share with you some tried and tested techniques to help live your life and overcome the barriers that social anxiety can cause. Some of the symptoms I used to have was feeling anxious and dread while facing social situations or even in everyday circumstances. So I would feel very self-conscious around people, my skin would get all tingly, I'd feel very hot, and I'd also sometimes get the feeling of being pulled down to the ground. I just felt so tremendously scared, worried, just sometimes nauseous. My heart would start to beat very fast, and my whole body would sometimes tingle with fright, and it was a very uncomfortable experience. So I got to a stage in life where I thought, this can't be my life. I need to improve. I need to grab this problem by the horns and overcome the challenges it's giving me. So I thought this video could be good if you suffer from similar feelings, maybe a worry of making phone calls, a worry of networking whilst at work, or just general socialising. So here are my tried and tested tips so you can have a happier life and enjoy being sociable. Cool. My first tip is taking small steps. Also known as exposure therapy. Now, this is your chance to gradually get used to things that can scare you. So when I did this, I rated things from 0 being things that is quite easy and very simple for me to do, and 10 being things that were very scary social wise. Slowly I challenged myself over time to go from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4 and all the way to 10 by taking each step as it comes. So I would adapt to something and then slowly include it as part of my comfort zone. Some of the low-level things could include taking part in a board game club where the main focus isn't conversation but just having fun and taking part in board games. Another low-level thing could be working from home but in a library, so you're being exposed to external people and situations, but it's not the main focus. Another low-level way to get out of a comfort zone is to go and get a coffee at a coffee shop. And another one could be walking in a new area near where you live which you haven't been before. Now, slightly more tricky stuff to help face fears, what I call mid-level, could be going out to eat alone in a small cafe, and maybe in a restaurant, and that could be closer towards the more scary stuff at stage 8 or 9. Other mid-level things could be making a phone call, or one thing I did which really boosted my confidence was to get a job in retail. So working as a customer service assistant meant I had to talk to people, but it was great because I had a purpose. So it wasn't me kind of just going in socialising. I actually had a reason to talk to people, and that actually made me feel more comfortable. And it made me have to approach people, it made me have to have conversations, and I gradually became more adept at just talking to people and more comfortable. And another way to test your confidence is to ask people for directions. That can be very daunting, but also because it's quite mid-level, it means that you just ask a question and then you go. Another one similar to that could be talking to someone in a queue. Some of the more high-level stuff, some of the more scary things that are really going to test you could be doing some sort of course or class. For example, I did a public speaking class which was very terrifying at first because I had to stand up and speak in front of people, but because everyone was very supportive and appreciative, it was actually a really great experience for me. Another good way of exploring your confidence and your social skills is going to an improv class where it's called improvisation, where you have to create scenes and work for other people and come up with new characters. Now, a lot of people have tried this and really improved their confidence. I did this and it got me used to speaking out loud, and it really helped me in the long run. Another top tier thing, let's say, face anxiety, is to go to a party. Now, that is one of the biggest social things you can do, so don't hurry into it, but do set it as a potential end goal. So as you build up your social confidence, like going to a party could be something that could be very terrifying, but it can actually be very enjoyable once you've gone through the small steps before this one. So with these different steps, make sure to congratulate yourself for however it goes. Even if it doesn't go perfectly, it's really good to thank yourself for taking part in these tasks that you previously considered scary. Now, like I said, even if it doesn't go perfect, celebrate yourself for that achievement. My next tip on beating social anxiety is finding the right group of friends. Now, social anxiety and friends go hand in hand. I had friends at the time, back then, which didn't support me, who potentially took out their worries and concerns and manifested them as teasing or maybe slight ribbing or bullying, which really affected my self-esteem. And I felt like it was really hard for me to grow as a person when the people who were friends were actually bringing me down. So one thing I did is found a brand new group of people, which was incredibly daunting, but it changed my life. Finding people who supported me, who listened to me, who congratulated me and appreciated me changed everything. So when I had people on my side, social situations weren't so tough. You know, knowing that wherever I went, if I went to a party, for example, because I already had a group of friends to go with, it made it so much easier. My third tip on how to overcome social anxiety is to remind yourself that most people are actually living in their own heads. So while you might be worried about feeling self-conscious or being worried about someone else judging you, don't forget they've got their head completely elsewhere. They're worried about all their own stuff. So don't think too much about what the other person might be thinking, because they've got their own anxieties, they've got their own dramas, they've got their own concerns. So they're not going to react too harshly to you because they might have their own stuff going on. And even if you do make a social faux pas, a social error, chances are it'll probably be forgotten about in about 5 minutes. I mean, if you've had a friend who's done something slightly socially embarrassing, do you still remember? Probably not. My fourth technique on how to overcome social anxiety is framing things differently. Like, you may have heard of CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, which means rewiring the brain so negative thoughts aren't so negative and readdressing them so they're not actually as big a deal as you think they are. My main ones that I use when I used to feel socially anxious was, what would a friend say in this situation? So if I thought, oh, I feel ugly, a friend would say, you might feel like it, but you're not. You know, you're attractive, you've had previous romantic interests, like you're a good looking person. So putting it in the perspective of a friend made it a lot easier, and it made me open my mind up so it wasn't so black and white. And you can also do this the other way. So for example, if you had a friend who said, do you know what, I can't handle this situation, what would you say to that friend? So for example, if they were saying, I can't handle this, you could say, actually, I know you can, you're incredible, you've been through a lot, and I think you can overcome this. So it's all about, again, seeing things from a different perspective, which helps you. Another good technique I learned from a vlogger a few years ago is, if you have a negative thought, is to actually think to yourself, does this thought benefit me in the slightest? Is this thought helpful? Is this thinking this way actually making my life better, or is it making it worse? And chances are, if it's not so good, you probably want rid of it. Just think to yourself, is this thought of interest to me? Is it making my life better? And it probably isn't. Now, my last technique is something that I continue to still do, and that is to positively reinforce all the great things I do in various different ways. So I've got a list of achievements, of things that I've done that I'm really proud of. It's very easy to think negatively and be about performance, about things that have gone badly, but keeping a list of all the great things I've done has been really, really helpful. All the maybe things I've done for charity, all the fears that I've overcome, all the scary things that I've done, like go on holiday on my own, for example, all those different things I put down on a list to remind myself frequently that I'm capable of some incredible stuff, and I'm sure you've also got many achievements that you just need reminding of. I also like to repeat positive affirmations like I'm confident, I'm willing, I'm ambitious, I like to support others. Again, think of stuff that positive things that people have said about you, or positive things you think about yourself, and generally remind yourself of these at least once a week. It can really improve your self-esteem. Another good technique is audio files, motivational CDs and tapes, and again, celebrating every success, no matter how minor, can really go a long way in improving the fears and worries about being sociable, right? Thank you for listening to this video. I hope some of the techniques were helpful in some way. Again, everything I've done, this is all tried and tested methods. This isn't just something I found off the internet. These are things that I've genuinely been through to help overcome my fears, and I really hope that it will make a difference in your life. If you've got any techniques that you found fantastic in helping overcome social anxiety, please put them in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.